Good morning to one and all. Welcome you all to the daily Indian Express newspaper analysis for the date 10th January 2023 2024 brought to you by Ganesh IAS Academy. Okay, let's get into the today's newspaper analysis. Mentioned here are the list of articles which we are going to have the analysis in the upcoming slides. So have a look at it. Okay, let's get into the analysis of every article one by one. Why 2023 was the warmest year on record and what happens now? So the news is related to a recent announcement by the European Climate Agency. What they have said is that this 2023 is the warmest year and it has overtaken the 2026, which was considered as warmest year since the start of the industrial revolution. So this is what the news is about. Let's look into how the news has been related to examination. Under prelims, the news is related to Indian geography, Indian as well as world geography, and also the same time GS paper 1 under a topic called geography and through a subtopic called important geophysical phenomena such as earthquake, tsunami, volcanic activity, cyclone, etc. So under this topic only the news has been related with. Okay, let's look into the details of the news. Europe's Copernicus Climate Change Service, what they have said is that 2023 was the warmest year on record, which is surpassing the 2016, which is considered as the warmest year. And this 2023 was 1.48 degrees Celsius warmer when compared to 1850-900 time period. And it is warmer than 2016 time period by 0.17 degrees Celsius. And at the same time, World Meteorological Organization during 2023 November, what they have said is that this they have given the earlier prediction in the November itself, what they have said is that this 2023 is going to be the warmest year on record because of the high heat waves as well as the climate extreme climate related events that has been happening across the globe. And then the rising temperature also contributed to large number of extreme weather events, like in the case of heat waves, floods, droughts, wildfires, etc. This kind of things have been happening around the globe throughout the year in different parts of the country. And 2023 was the first time that every day within the year exceeded the 1 degree Celsius above above 1815 to 900 time period. And at the same time 50% of the day were more than the 1.5 degrees Celsius, and the 2 days in November were for the first time more than 2 degrees Celsius, which is the goal under which we have to limit the rising temperature as provided under the Paris deal 2015. So this doesn't mean that this 1 year time period where most of the days where the temperature is above 1 degree Celsius and nearly 50% of the days where the temperature is above 1.5 degrees Celsius. This 1.5 degrees Celsius, 2 degrees Celsius are the limits that has been set under, as I said, Paris deal. But this doesn't mean that the plan has breached the target that has been fixed under Paris deal. Why? Because these thresholds, if this threshold has been breached or the temperature that has been recorded every year has reached 1.5 degrees Celsius or more than 1.5 degrees Celsius or 2 degrees Celsius for the longer period, that is to say for 20 to 30 years, means then it is considered as the failure of the Paris deal, because the calculation of this deal will be made like that only, not for the particular year where the temperature has reached the 1.5 degrees Celsius. If it is going to breach that 1.5 degrees Celsius for the long period of 20 to 30 years, means then it is considered as it is considered as the failure of the Paris deal. And as a part of the extreme climate events, the sea ice extent in Antarctica got plummeted to new low this year, and it reached the annual maximum of 16.96 million square kilometer, which was 1.03 million square kilometer less than the the previous record which was set in 1986. And this, what are all the drivers that is the reason for this kind of extreme weather events is, first and foremost is the increased greenhouse gas emission in the atmosphere. Secondly, the greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide gets trapped, traps the sun's energy in the earth system before it escapes into the space or the solar system. Thirdly, since the industrial revolution, the greenhouse gas emissions has got increased, and the rate of increase has got exponentially raised because of increased industrial activities. And then the carbon dioxide concentration in 2023 were 2.4 parts per million higher than 2022, and at the same time methane concentration got increased by 11 parts per billion. So these are all the different drivers for increased weather, increased heat waves, and then the increased temperature that has recorded in the 2023. And at the same time, the onset of El Nino in the later part of the year has also triggered or fueled the already increased temperature. And then what does this El Nino? El Nino is nothing but the warming of the surface water in the equatorial Pacific Ocean, and it will be having a rampant effect on the global temperature and the global climate related events. So this is what the drivers, and this is what the news with relation to the increased temperature or the increased global temperature during the 2023 as said by the European weather agencies about. And what could happen now or in the future? The scientists have said that the 2024 could be warmer than 2023. Why? Because it is also possible that the next year may surpass the 1.5 degrees Celsius warming threshold. And the World Meteorological Organization has also said is that between the period 2023 and 2027, one year is going to be, any 1 year is going to reach that 1.5 degrees Celsius, which has also been said by WMO. And a long-term breach of the 1.5 degree limit would unleash the weather-related events or many disasters like frequent as well as severe droughts, heat waves, and extreme rainfall. To prevent this, what the article is mentioning is, to prevent this, the global countries should act in tandem so that they need to cooperate with each other to ensure that the common goal of this the limiting the climate change with the temperature within the 1.5 degrees Celsius is achieved. So this is what the thing is about. So what need to be studied further is, we should be aware of what is World Meteorological Organization, what is United Nations Framework for Convention on Climate Change, and then what is Indian Meteorological Department. So these are all the things which we needed to be further aware of, and with this we have reached the end of this topic. India and giant radio telescope. So the news is related to India becoming a part of the international grouping which is related to research in the radio telescope. So the news is related to general science. Similarly, under mains it is related to GS paper 3, science and technology, under a subtopic called awareness in the field of IT, space, computers, robotics, nanotechnology, biotechnology, and issues relating to IPR. So through this topic only the news has been linked with the examination. Okay, let's get into the news. So India is going to join the Square Kilometer Array, which is the joint project of the global communities, and the international scientific collaboration working to build the world's largest radio telescope. And India has been contributing to this project since its inceptions, directly as well as indirectly. But now the government is going to become India is going to become the full-fledged member in this project. And if it is going to become a full member, means it will offer an opportunity to use the upcoming facilities which requires countries to sign and ratify the international treaty for that purpose. And based on this treaty only, this project has been signed. And to India is going to ratify it. India is going to sign as well as ratify it now, so that it will be becoming a full-time member in the future. And India has also already built a gravitational wave detector to join the international LIGO experiment. And at the same time, India is also full-time member of ITER project, and which is working to harness the positives of nuclear fusion. And at the same time, India is also participating in the Large Hadron Collider, which is the world's largest and most powerful particle accelerator, which is running experiment to study about the particle physics. So under these are all the other international collaboration where India is part of. Okay, let's look into what does this square kilometer array is about. The square kilometer array will not be a single large telescope. Rather, it is the collection of thousands of small telescopes. The name, why the project has been named as square kilometer array is, the name came from the original intention to create 1 square kilometer of effective areas for collecting the radio waves. But after some times, because of further different reasons, this size got reduced. But the name has been stick with the square kilometer array. So that is the reason why the project has been named as square kilometer array. This was meant to be achieved by installing thousands of small antennas in specific array, which would make them function like single radio telescope. That is, the small telescopes will be placed in different parts of the world, and they will connect it together to a common network, which will be acting as single radio telescope. But now it has lesser area because of further different reasons which I have said. And the antennas about 200 of which were in South Africa, and more than 1,30,000 were in Australia, and they are being installed sparsely populated location. Why? Because to minimize the signal interference from the Earth's based sources, so that they could able to freely receive the signals which is been coming from the Earth, so that they could be able to do their scientific experiment with regards to this radio telescope. Once operation, SKA, that is the square kilometer array, would be between 50 and 60 times more powerful than the most advanced existing radio telescope functioning. So this is what the details with regards to the square kilometer array is about. So what is in it for India is, none of the SKA facility would be in India, but India has scientific as well as technological gains. How it is? The radio astronomy, which India has some experience in it, which India has, like in the case of giant meter radio telescope, which is in Pune, has been used by many world countries to do their projects. So since India is having a vast amount of experience in the radio astronomy, India is in a position to contribute in terms of technological as well as the ideological aspect of this project. And at the same time, India could also have the access to SKA facility after becoming the full-time member. And most of the existing telescope operates under an open policy, where anyone, which allows any members from any country to get access to the facility through competitive bidding. But there is an argument that the countries that contributes to building such kind of facilities need to get prioritized. So is the case with SKA, where under this, even though it is following the open policy, but the member countries, those who are part of it, will be getting the priority in terms of accessing those facilities, so that they could able to do their research. And there are technological benefits as well. That is, the SKA would work on the high-end technologies like electronics, software, material science, and computing. And the intellectual properties that is going to be generated by the project will belong to the SKA observatory only, and it would be accessible. Such kind of IP in intellectual properties would be accessible for the member countries only. And this is the huge learning opportunities for the scientists, academics as well as even the private industries, which in turn will ensure that the radio astronomy in the country will get boosted, so that it will have the application in the various sectors of the economy. And the participating in the project also result in expanding the science as well as technological base in the area. As I said, the radio astronomy field will get widened and its application would be delegated to different sectors, and along with it also ensured that the researchers or the academicians who are involved in those kind of radio astronomy will get their capability enhanced by accessing these kind of facilities, and also they also get opportunities to get trained in the updated facilities which is available in SKA. And the Indian participation, the project is being led by Pune based National Center for Radio Astrophysics, but 22 institutions are collaborating under NCRA, like in the example which includes IISER and and many other IITs. 22 Indian institutions have been collaborating under National Center for Radio Physics, which is in Radio Astrophysics, which is in Pune. This location based in the institute is very important from the perspective of prelims, and they are going to lead the India's effort in the SKA. So India's involvement. So what has been the India's involvement in the SKA project is, India has been a part of, even though India hasn't ratified the SKA project before, India has been the part of the SKA project only. Like it has been involved in SKA project right from the beginning in 1990s itself, and contributed to the design as well as development of telescope, as well as negotiating the SKA convention. Under this convention only, this project has been fructified or finalized, and the main contribution came in the development and operation of the telescope manager, that is the neural network that runs the facilities. And there are plans to set up the SKA's regional center in the country, which will be part of the global network to process and store the data and make it available for the entire scientific community. So this is what the involvement of India in SKA project is since its beginning. So what need to be studied further is, we should be aware of what is LHC, what is ITER, what is LIGO experiment, and what is the ISRO's recent mission. So these are all the other areas which we needed to be further aware of, and with this we have reached the end of this topic. Likely hike of 50% in the financial year 25 budget outlay for the NGNREGA. So the news is related to this upcoming budget is going to have the more amount of budget for the NGNREGA scheme. That is, more amount means 50% higher than the previous year. So this is what the news is about. Let's look into the details of the news. So first we will look into how the news has been related to examination. Under prelims it is related to economic and social development. Similarly, under mains it is related to GS paper 3, economic and developments under a subtopic called Indian economy and issues relating to planning, mobilization of resource, growth, development as well as employment. So this is what the news is. Government is going to allocate rupees 90,000 crores for NGNREGAs in the for the financial year 2025, and it is going to be 50% more than the budgeted estimate of financial year 24. And why the financial year 24 saw the lesser amount of budget in for NGNREGA scheme is because of the rampant misappropriation of fund which has been allocated under the scheme. So to plug such kind of activities, government has reduced the budget that has been provided for NGNREGA. So this is what the details of the news is about. Let's look into what does the scheme is about. It is the NGNREGA scheme has been passed through a act in 2005 which guarantees right to work. So right to work is the legal act in India to the rural citizen of India, and the government assures minimum of 100 days for the unskilled manual work to all the adult member of the rural household, those who are belonging to below poverty line. And the main objective of NREGA is to provide employment to rural citizens. And for receiving the benefit of NREGA, there are certain eligibility criteria has been fixed. First is the he or she need to be citizen of India, he or she need to be 18 years of age at the time of the application, and they need to be rural household member, and they need to do they need to they should be willing to do the unskilled work. So these are all the criteria that has been fixed under this scheme. And at the same time, if work is not assigned within 15 days, means the applicant is entitled to receive an unemployment benefit, unemployment allowance, which is 1/4 of the wage. And at the same time, the section 17 of NREGA has mandated the implementers to ensure that the social audit under the scheme is made. So social audit has been made compulsory through the act in this scheme. And at the same time, in the recent years, to plug the gap or to plug the rampant corruption that has been made through this scheme, government has ensured that Aadhaar based payment system to pay the wages to the workers has been mandated through this scheme. So what is the significance of this scheme is, it ensures infrastructure development in rural areas, and also it compensates the income losses that arise due to the untoward incidents in the agri economy, and also it provides off-season work for the agriculture laborers, and also it prevents migration to urban area, which in turn will be reducing urban poor. And also at the same time, it ensures the livelihood to the rural citizen, and then it is based on rights based approach. So rights based approach means it is the right for it is the right for every rural citizen to get the work. And what is the challenges for it is it is suffered because of high amount of corruption, and the job opportunities has been limited only. Thirdly, limited quality of work, and then increased bureaucratic red tapeism, and then lack of awareness among the people for the things like social audit and other thing which is related to the other aspect of the scheme. So these are all the significance as well as challenges the scheme faces. So what are all the things which we needed to be further aware of is, we should be aware of what is the urban employment program, what is the article 21, and what is EPFO, its structure, function, as well as the objective. So these are all the other areas which we needed to be further aware of, and with this we have reached the end of this topic. Chlorine gas leaked in DEHRADUN, which leaves the resident in breathlessness. So in DEHRADUN, there was a leakage of chlorine gas happened, which had made the people to get suffered because of the difficulty in breathlessness that has been happened because of the smelling of the chlorine. So this is what the news is about. Let's look into the details of the news. Under prelims, it is related to general science. Similarly, under mains, it is related to science and technology, to a subtopic called awareness in the field of IT, space, computers, robotics, biotechnology, nanotechnology, and issues relating to IPR, which comes under GS paper 3, science and technology. Okay, there is a region in DEHRADUN, that is Jajra, where the residents are faced dizziness, breathlessness due to leakage of the chlorine gas in the area. The chlorine cylinder has been placed in the empty space, but the gas, there is some leakage in the cylinder, so that the gas got leaked from it and it got spread, which in turn led to more amount of uneasiness to the residents there. So let's look into what is this chlorine gas is about. It is the chemical element that belongs to halogen group, which is with the symbol Cl, and it was discovered in 1770s and soon became useful as the commercial agent, and it founded easily in its natural state, and it should be handled without care because it is highly poisonous at lower concentration, which is very important from the perspective of prelims. And chlorine is very harmful and has been used as chemical weapons in the history. So this is what the chemical properties of the chlorine gas is about. Let's look into what is the usage does it have. First and foremost, it has been used historically for weapon making. Secondly, it is also being used for wastewater treatment. Thirdly, it is also used to control odor that is being present in the surroundings, and then it prevents the spread of waterborne diseases by by killing the microbes that is present in the waters. So these are all the uses or the application it has. So what are all the other areas which we needed to be further aware of is we should be aware of what is Stockholm Convention, what are all their objectives, structure, and who are the member of it. And secondly, we should also be aware of Rotterdam Convention. And thirdly, we should also be aware of what is volatile organic compound and how it is being formed. So these are all the areas which we needed to be further aware of. And with this, we have reached the end of this topic. Let's look into today's practice prelims question. Mentioned here is the today's practice prelims question. So those students, those who are watching this session online, please do comment the option point for the question which you are seeing right now on the board. Okay, with this we have reached the end of today's session. Please do like, comment, share as well as subscribe Ganesh IAS YouTube channel so that you would be receiving daily current affairs session and then the weekly environment and science and tech current affair revision session and other important sessions that will be brought to you in the future by Ganesh IAS Academy. Thank you.